Let's bring in our legal guys. Avery Friedman, a civil rights attorney and law professor, joining us from Cleveland, and Richard Herman, a New York criminal defense attorney and law professor, joining us from Las Vegas. All right, good to see you guys. Avery, you first. Why is this legal?
Well, there was a policy established under the Reagan administration, Frederica, that created a cooperation between the federal government and state government and law enforcement. When you hear about joint task force, for example, it involves terrorism, it involves child pornography, and conceptually it's great, but it has been abused. It has occurred since the 1980s over 55,000 times. There's legislation pending in both the House and Senate to change the standards. In this kind of thing, legal analysis requires not a butcher knife, but a surgical knife, so that you change the standards. Let it work. Cooperation between the federal, state, local government, continue joint task force, keep the program operating, get rid of the abuses.
Well, I think if it's a program like this, is civil asset forfeiture, or interdiction, you know, Richard, I think most people would probably understand if there's probable cause, if someone has carried out some major violation and then, oh, by the way, when being questioned or when their vehicle being searched, something like this, you know, comes about. But it sounds as though, from the looks of Gary's story, that there's almost like a profile. These police officers knew who to pursue and knew that there was going to be this bounty, and were looking for a reason in which to seize it. I mean, did I get that wrong, or is that what we're seeing?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, no, Fred, you hit it right on the head. The Beatles and Temptations sang songs about money, money, money. Let me tell you something. This is all about money. $1 billion they got last year, I think, in civil forfeiture cases. It's outrageous, Frederica. Here it is. If they get a warrant to go into a house because they suspect drug activity, and they walk in there and there's vials and there's drugs all over the place and there's a stack of cash on the table, they take that cash. They forfeit that cash. It's obviously proceeds from criminal activity, and that's what the statute was meant for. RICO
because then
cases,
it kind of becomes evidence.
Not a statute.
But in this case, you hear these young men, you know, who say, okay, well, there was the marijuana possession charge. You hear them say, no, there was a bargaining. They got all their money back except for $10,000, and so the police department got to keep that?
I don't know.
I don't understand that one.
I don't know how they did this, Fred.
Okay.
Fred, they got pulled over on a signal, a traffic signal. They went into his trunk, opened up a locked bag from the trunk. This is unbelievable. I don't know how this happened here. The only way I think to stop this is to allow like treble damages. If you believe they were wrongfully, your money was wrongfully seized, you should be able to sue, and if you recover, treble damages, because the abuse is outrageous. There's no determination of guilt. There's no determination you're involved in criminal activity, and your money is seized, and you have to petition to get it back. And if you don't do it within a certain period of time, you waive it.
And it seems like you don't have to have a lot of money to see it that way. So then, Avery, what are you disagreeing with? I mean, why is it that this is justified?
Yeah, what are you disagreeing with?
It's not
justified.
These cases. It needs reformation. You can bring suit under the 14th Amendment to recover. The reason that you need a law by Congress, because it is not a statute, it is a policy by the Department of Justice that requires congressional action to stop it. You want to have treble damages, as he suggested? Okay, pass a law by Congress. You've got John Conyers in the House, who's a Democrat. You've got Jim Sensenbrenner, who's a Republican. You need to pass legislation. In the absence of that, you can do something, but a constitutional case is what you have to bring in order to recover this.
Interesting. So unless there's a law, it seems as though, and if this is the right terminology, it almost looks like this is just outright theft. Then it's okay
well, I agree with that.
for theft to take place unless there's a law that says no police or law enforcement officers, you're not allowed to do this.
Higher standards, Frederica. Higher standards. That's what the statute will require.
Fred, if your money is seized, there's a short window for you to petition to get it back. If you don't do it, you waive it. And if you do bring that petition, you risk opening Pandora's box, the contrary statements you may have made to law enforcement.
Yeah, just like those two gentlemen. They said, well, you know, they were kind of afraid of what would come next, so they just said, all right, fine, $10,000, we'll let it go. All right, fascinating. I know we could go on forever. And something tells me there, where you are, I mean, Richard, in Nevada, then maybe this would be, you know, practiced a little bit more than others. I don't have the stats on that, but if we're talking about, you know, those who gamble,
people gamble a little more here and
there are cases out there. There are cases, the Morrow case and other ones that actually do something about it.
In Reno.
Okay. All right, gentlemen. Thanks so much. Always fiery. That's why we love having you. All right. Richard, thank you so much. Avery. Thank you so much.
care.
All
Thank
right,
you, Fred.
we'll be right back after this.